You're listening to the Devil Dog Talk Show.
This show contains explicit material and is recommended for ages 18 and older for mature audiences only. But hey, it's the internet.
All right, today it's it's fucking Monday, 2019 March. It's a March day. It's a March. Hey Shane, what March is this? It's March what?
I think 10th.
March 10th. Awesome.
Oh, 11th.
Oh, here we go. There we go. Yeah, being busy, being a dad all weekend's fucking rough, right? So right. March 11th, it's nap time Monday, actually. It's the National World's Nap Time Day, which is cool. Probably going to do that up later. And we're talking with Shane. How do you pronounce your last name? Because I don't want to butcher it. Kruchten. See, I would have nailed it. I would have fucking nailed it. Shane Kruchten. And Shane is an amazing young man. I say young man because he's barely like a day older than me. Way saltier. Didn't know that actually before the phone call, pre-chat, show chat. And we're going to let him introduce himself. Go ahead, Shane. Introduce yourself a bit.
What's up, guys? I'm Shane Kruchten. I'm a former Marine Corps combat veteran, OIF 1 and 2. Now currently fight for Bellator MMA, and coming up on the 29th, as Joey was talking about, I have a big fight coming up at
Pechanga Casino and Resort, right? That's in Temecula, correct?
Yeah, I think so.
Nice, SoCal, keep it local. Right. That's pretty awesome, man. And how did you go from Marine Corps to Bellator fighting MMA?
It was a long road. I actually, I got out of the Marine Corps. I gained a bunch of weight due to my injuries and medicines, and I went to a random bar. My buddy offered me to go to some fights. I didn't even know what was going on, and a guy approached me and goes, "You look like a big dude," and I go, "Yeah, what about it?" I was 260 pounds at the time.
Oh my god!
And, I was like 262, I think was the scale said. So it was the official scale. And he's like, "You want a $500 bar tab? Get in there and fight." And I fought a 38-year-old man at the time. I was 22 or 21. And fought a 38-year-old man, my senior. He's an Army veteran, and I beat him up and won. And so that was my intro to MMA. Fast forward 10 years. On the 29th will be my 6-year anniversary of breaking into the quote-unquote big show. I started with World Series of Fighting. And it's funny because the same show I fought at the Hard Rock in Las Vegas was on March 29th, 6 years to the day that I'm fighting March 29th in Pechanga. So when I got the call for Bellator, it was when WSOF basically imploded and turned into Professional Fighters League. I got released, and Bellator signed me the same day. I ended up fighting Aaron Pico. I lost a very violent 38-second knockout due to a body shot.
Oh, man, that's rough.
Yeah, man. And then I just did a lot of soul searching the last year and became a better man, better human being for my family. And here I am. I'm back. I'm a lot better than I've ever been. And people are going to see a new War Rhino come out the gates on the 29th. Dude,
I'm so fucking stoked right now. Like, I mean, on a personal standpoint, it's not just awesome that you're fighting for Bellator, right? Bellator is a great fucking, I want to say a league, because if we were talking about, leagues, it's like a league. I don't know, because everything's so different nowadays from when I was growing up. I mean,
promotion.
Yeah, promotion, thank you. Yeah, because when I was growing up, dog, like, check this shit out, okay? I remember when Tap Out was created, and these dudes were going around, the WEC guys and shit were just coming up, and, like, Tap Out, the dudes, right, they would be out at the show in, like, a taco truck essentially looking thing, slinging fucking t-shirts and shit. Man, that's so fucking crazy. Okay, so and now you're fucking 6 years later after really breaking through, and on the same date of my anniversary, which is again, fuck me type of approach. But look, I did not remember. I got excited for the tickets. My dad and my brother-in-law, we were supposed to go, and I'm glad my wife said something, because I would have paid dearly for that. And so that's really exciting, man. That's so fucking exciting. You went from, so you got out of the military what year?
2005, I was medically retired.
2005.
And 3 months later, yeah. Three months later was my first pro fight.
Damn, dude. That is fucking gnarly. And how much did you weigh your first fight? You said it was like
262 pounds.
And how much you weighing now?
I fight at 145 pounds or 155. I'm fighting at 155 for this fight.
Okay, so I'm trying to do the math there. How the fuck did you do that?
Everybody always asks me, they're like, how'd you do that? I go, I'm typical Marine. I'm just retarded. And I went in and eat a bunch of crayons, but I went in and I found, I went to 24-hour fitness, man. And, I met a trainer and I literally told him, I go, look, I'm a pro fighter. And I remember his trainer goes, come here. I got to introduce you to somebody. And he introduced me to this other guy. And he's like, this guy's a pro fighter. And the whole room looked at me like I was like crack. I'm wearing size 40 jeans, can barely walk. I'm out of breath walking upstairs. And the guy goes, well, how serious are you? And I said, this is my goal. This is how I want to make a living. And he goes, okay, I got you. So he started slanging me like privates on the DL, like for a quarter of the price than they should have been, because he wanted to like watch me grow. His name is Chris, and next thing you know, I lost 100 pounds in 8 months, and I ended up competing at 155 pounds. And I remember walking into my first show for 155, and everybody looks at me. They heard my name, and the promoter hears my name, and they all go, "No way, this is the same dude." Sure enough, I got all the same tats, so it was me. Yeah.
Holy shit.
So I fought, everybody's brains blew, man. I fought heavyweight, light heavyweight, 205 pounds. I fought middleweight, 185. I have not fought welterweight at 170. I fought at 155, and then I got aspirations and crazy things in my head, and I was like, well, maybe if I can make 155, I can definitely go lower.
Wow.
And so I ended up fighting 145 and 135. So the only weight I have not fought at, obviously, I'm not going any lower than crackhead.
Yeah, please don't.
It's like, no, it doesn't look pretty. I have not fought at 170. So before I officially hang it up forever, I'm going to fight at least one fight at 170, just so I can say I cleaned out all the weight classes.
Dude, that is so fucking gnarly. All right, my biggest question to you then is, how much did you weigh in the Marine Corps?
I was about 220. I was a little bit stouter. I lifted a lot, did a lot of creatine, like between 210, 220, constant. Wow. And I still had a 300 PFT, so I was still doing all my. Yeah, I mean, I was a stud. I was running sub 18 minutes for 3 miles, still doing 20 plus pull-ups, still doing all my crunches. So it was never a problem. Cardio and working out are never my problems.
Dude, that is so fucking awesome. I'm so intrigued by the weight classes that you fought in, and the weight that you got up to, because right now I'm about 268, right? And right before we got on our phone call, my wife, she's a personal trainer now, and she's like really getting on me about.
You get yelled at all the time.
Yes, I do. Not just for forgetting anniversaries and shit, but for eating extra ice cream, for not doing my minutes on the treadmill. Like it's everything. And I'm in the recovery phase still. Trying to get on it, get better. But like your story's so fucking goddamn inspiring right now that I'm like, wow, if he can do it. I just
shot you 2 pictures.
Nice, I'm gonna check them out. But like if he can do it,
my fat boys.
Oh my god, I'm gonna fucking hold up. Let me see. Let's see here. Of course, my phone. Okay, but like seriously, so this is just. So do you eat? Like, did you grow up wrestling? Just a quick question.
I did. I grew up wrestling. Yep.
So losing weight in weight classes isn't. Oh my god, dude. No fucking way, bro.
Yeah, man.
Holy sheep shit, dude. I think you're trying to like smother this guy with your panza here.
Dude, that made pasta look small. But yeah, no, it's crazy too, because I mean, that the one I just sent you, but it's the thing is like my first weight cut. I was talking with my girl, and my first weight cut that I can vividly remember, I was 9 years old.
Oh wow!
So you're talking 25 years of cutting weight.
Well, that's
in my life.
That's a good work experience, I guess. I mean, and
right?
How do you feel at that weight? Do you feel better, healthier, stronger? I mean, I would imagine so.
At 155, I mean, honestly, so obviously none of us none of us are fight weight. I'll tell you that right now.
Right.
So anybody that has this like envision that when fighters walk out it says 155, that all the fighters are 155, I'd probably say less than 0.5% of the fighters are anywhere within 5 pounds of that weight.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I'm 170 this morning. I'll be 170 to 175 the day of fight. I'll lose 15 pounds in less than 3 days just to weigh in. And then once I weigh in, I'll rehydrate and eat, and I get about 30 hours of rehydration, and I'll be completely looking normal again.
Oh my God,
so,
dude.
I always goof around and I say I only have a 6-pack on weigh-in day, and that's not a joke.
Dude, that is so gnarly. That's like a bodybuilder's like lifestyle right there, you know, just to shed
but
everything
it's reversed.
out. Yeah, well, reverse. Instead of building, you're trying to shed it. But I'm like, the intensity,
Correct.
you know, the intensity of fucking shit. Well, the reason why I get into it is because, you know, when I was in, you know, you're talking about lifting weights and stuff. I was never a runner, you know, God forbid.
Yeah.
I grew up wrestling. I wrestled 275s at 180, 85. So I weighed in fully clothed. So I'd be about 205, so I could wrestle the weight class up or whatever it fucking was back in the day. And so I never had that stressor of losing weight. I think one tournament I wrestled 165s just once, and I did okay. But like I was never that cutter, and I know that sounds bad, but you know, the weight cutter guy. And I just always had such a huge respect for that. One of my great friends, Mark Anderson, he was like the epitome of cutting weight. Okay, like just like what you said, like up until the tournament day. And I think it's a little bit more strict with wrestling. You know,
it is.
And but the funny thing is like just the things you put your body through, and it's insane. Oh my God. So then on fight day, right, you're all fucking hydrated up, you're amped, you're getting it going. My next question, because this is just my intrigue first before we move along the actual interview questions. Who hits harder, fat boys or skinny guys?
Harder, obviously, some fat boys can hit hard and some skinny guys can hit hard.
So it's really
skinny
not,
guys throw. Yeah, it's not a weight thing. Everybody thinks it's a weight thing, but it's not. But at the same time, the smaller dudes move so damn fast. It's like a nail gun shooting out. You're like, oh shit, you can't really dodge it. Big guys, you can see the punch coming from 5 miles away.
Nice. That's crazy. Yeah, well, that's kind of what we see on camera, but you know, camera doesn't capture what it looks like. Like even if it was
Correct.
a POV camera, like I remember training a little teeny tiny bit, but I would never step in the fucking ring. I don't like getting punched in the face. That's just my honest truth. I mean, I'm not pretty as it is, dude. So I gotta fucking, keep with what I got.
Right.
Oh my God. All right. So the next biggest thing you got coming up, of course, is the fight on the 29th. This is your 6th year anniversary. You went from the heaviest of weights, 260 to 264, and now you're fighting at you said 155, correct?
Yeah, this one's 155 lightweight. Yep.
Jesus, man. Okay, so now the next question I have is about McMap and the Marine Corps. Did anything from those skill sets like transfer over, and now you're fighting out of the lab in Arizona, the MMA lab, right, of Arizona?
Yeah.
Okay.
Correct.
Did any of that, like, does it help learn better? Does it help humble yourself? You know, because I never did the McMap, but like me and the guys, we would wrestle around and have fun and learn stuff. But does that help transfer over?
And that's a crazy thing. So I was a green belt instructor in the Marine Corps. I just got my first degree black belt in McMap recently.
Okay.
I still instruct. I still go, and I'm still very active with the military. And today's McMap is much different than when I was in, right? When I was in, I remember I entered the Marine Corps with the tricolor uniforms.
Oh
and
my God.
we were just trying McMap. Like, they didn't even know what the hell McMap was yet. So everybody was kind of learning, and all the DMs got put on this like accelerated program to get their green belts, and because they wanted us to look badass compared to everybody else, which was really dumb. But fast forward, now being a black belt, being a first degree black belt in McMap and instructing it nowadays McMap is much different, and it's integrated to the point where Jiu-jitsu is very vital. Judo is very vital. There's actual very useful information that can transfer over. I mean, is everything going to transfer over? Hell no. But at the end of the day, you're going to have these aspects that are transferable. But at the same time, the things that McMap teaches you is like pressure and basic techniques and how to hold your opponent down or how to control. That stuff's all jiu-jitsu related. Judo is like the throwing of your enemy and throwing of stuff. So I mean, there's aspects but I mean, you'll never use one of the McMap punches. If I used a McMap punch in an MMA fight, I'm getting knocked out, like straight out. Like, I'll be honest. So, but we can't teach somebody how to throw an actual punch. If I start throwing actual punches in a McMap class, people are going night-night.
Yeah, that's the true story. Well, I mean, that's something too, though. I think, I'm not saying the Marine Corps is getting softer or off, necessary skill assets. I mean, definitely not. One of my buddies, he just got out a few months ago, last year. And we were talking about, his boot camp experience 4 or 5 years ago now, and the difference between just what you would anticipate, like with Mothers of Marines and different stuff like that, and you bring up the training aspect, and I go, yeah, but you kind of want to know what it feels like to get punched in the fucking face, right? Like, I mean, if you're going out and being a war fighter versus, going out and being a cage fighter, both opportunities, you're might maybe need to know how it feels to get punched in the fucking face. But
yes and no.
I mean that's true too.
The higher belts you get in McMap, you actually do physical contact. Like tan and gray and green, you don't really get contact. You go higher than that, you're getting contact. You're getting basically jumped. So you feel it. You know what I mean? Like there's a thing for black belt to become a first degree and get your black belt and stuff. Literally, you go in this like room and you have a hood on, and they pop the hood up, and you're like, oh shit! There's like 3 dudes. You gotta fend yourself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there's aspects that like again, it depends. There's levels to this shit, just like in everything else. There's levels to it. Just like in MMA, there's a million regional shows that your local little fighter, trying to sell tickets and trying to sell a T-shirt or trying to sell a sticker. Like, there's levels to this shit. When you get to where I'm at, I mean, people come to me wanting to put their shit on me. I don't have to sell myself anymore. I don't have to sell tickets. They come to me begging me.
Nice.
But look, I mean, I started fighting for a bar tab. Now I'm getting huge checks written to me.
Yeah.
Way different.
See, and that's the amazing thing. And you're still involved with the active duty, and you're teaching these skills that are also transferable, which, I mean, I don't know who's out there listening and going, fuck, I'm still in. I want to be a cage fighter. Shane's got me going. I'm going to do it. Here I come, Lab Arizona. Like, I don't know. Maybe there's a few guys, but I just like you said in your circumstance, you got out. You were fighting literally for a bar tab. I mean, I guarantee you those roads weren't necessarily the most prettiest or greenest, that you've ever seen, especially compared to now. You put in the fucking work. Yeah. You lost the fucking weight. You did the fucking shit. You upped the levels, just like we're talking about belts and stuff. I love talking about this stuff. My kids do Taekwondo, and I have the utmost respect for people learning how technical things are. And I love that shit. I love that energy, bro. Like, that's fucking badass. Here you are now, just a few weeks away from a very big fight, your 6th year anniversary on the date. And I'm going, and that's beautiful energy to be bringing into it, especially as you're still giving back to service in the United States Marine Corps, helping these guys. I mean, the majority of people aren't deploying anymore, and the majority of people also aren't going to see hand to hand. That's the truth of life, okay? Yeah. But, this is essential life skills that what if shit goes really bad? What if you need it just for yourself? Shit happens. Shit fucking happens. Right. And I always like talking with my kids, wrestling is a very great sport.
100%.
Yeah, it's one of those great things that gets your bases and your foundation built really well. It's not great for striking whatsoever, and you're going to stick your head in places that you're going to get guillotined like a motherfucker, and all these things. But that's where I love the mixed martial arts. I like the camaraderie that comes out of it, the excitement, of course, of a fight. I actually really do miss those days of going out and seeing a good fight, and people go like, why do you want to see people fucking hurt each other? Well, that happens. but I like to see the technicality of it too. Like, you know, when somebody really knows what they're doing versus somebody that is really excited. I love that. I love watching that skill
well,
come out.
Get I call them your bar fights, right?
Mm-hmm.
Your shit shows at a bar. And like, these guys have never, like, the loudest man in the room is never the strongest kind of mentality. So you get these guys, I'll beat your ass. I'm like, all right, cool, dude. Obviously you didn't look at my ears, you know?
Yeah.
You know, and I always love that when you're sitting. We were at a dinner a few weeks ago, and there was a table full of us, all fighters. All our ears are jacked up, and we're not the prettiest ears, you know. And some of our noses are crooked. And this guy is like talking shit out of nowhere. Pretty boy, muscle meathead, and he's like, "Oh, I'll beat all your asses." We're all like, "Okay, dude." Like, all right, but you know, and to rewind real quick, Joey, on a subject you brought up is giving back to the Marine Corps. I don't know if you know this, but there's something I mentioned in all my interviews, and I donate every check I get to wounded veterans. So all my money goes to wounded. Yeah, goes to wounded veterans. I don't have, you know, like a personal money. I make enough money. I own a general contracting company in San Diego.
Oh, nice.
And I make more than enough. So it's with that. That's my primary. This money is all donated money. I fight because I love to fight, and I fight to inspire. So if I can fight, inspire, and help out, holy crap, it's a win-win-win. You know?
No,
that's what I love to do.
I love that. So I didn't know that. Like right now, I'm actually kind of like blushing and humble. My man pussies is wet. You know, whatever you got to say about that. That's fucking awesome, dude. No, that's fucking beautiful because that's why I do podcasting. You know, that's why I do audio engineering. I always love to interview. I didn't know that you did that before this, or else I would have made a bigger deal of it. But like, I'm like, dude, that is so fucking beautiful because like everybody I've interviewed this year so far is those type of people that are giving back. You know, and the first question, as soon as you said, I was like, how are you taking care of yourself? I'm worried, but I'm also like, this is a great thing. And then, but you do general contracting, which is even more better because me and my wife are going to be like, hey, you need to hit up Shane. I'm like, okay, no problem. So, but then.
Exactly. You know, and that's the thing is I do all word of mouth. Like my company is WAR RHINO Incorporated. So.
WAR RHINO Incorporated. That's like, fucking
people
nice.
People see WAR catchy and it's disabled veteran owned. They're like, let's go.
And Purple Heart recipient owned. See, that's the biggest thing.
Yeah, and Purple Heart.
Well, you know, we're what's it called? We're tagging things right now for the listeners and stuff, which is good. But like a lot of veterans out there don't know about those opportunities as far as being a disabled veteran, right? Being an entrepreneur, being a Purple Heart recipient. And the avenues of not just, you know, compensation, medical treatment, stuff like that, but the avenues of education, entrepreneurship. I mean, you talk finances and that's a whole new window, but I'm talking sheer how to do business. The VA does a great job with that. There's local communities here with, I think it's San Diego Business There's an association or some shit down, like right down.
Yeah, it's in downtown.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say.
The business thing is in downtown there, but I didn't have any clue on how to even start a business, how to go to school, how to do anything, right?
Right.
And I remember I walked in and we had the GI Bill, and I was like, well, F it, dude. Like, I'm going to get my money. And people were like, what are you going to go to school for? I go, whatever the fuck gives me money. And I had one. I'm a typical Marine, typical veteran. Like, give me my money.
I fucking love that approach.
Yeah, and I didn't know what I wanted to go to school for. I remember going to school, and you know, they throw you into general education classes, and I was in general ed, and I went to a creative writing class. And number one, I'm a grunt. I can't write for shit. And I can barely spell, much less put a sentence together. Yeah,
especially if they give you crayons, you're going to be shit out of luck. You're going to be eating them all.
Oh, I'm going to eat them all. Yeah, it's over. Permanent markers go up my nose. It's just bad. So
licking the glue.
I'm sitting. Yeah, it's all over. So I walk in there, and the first thing the teacher says on the third day of class, the teacher goes, "Write about an experience that changed your life forever." And I remember sitting there and I was like, what the do I write about? These kids are like 17, 18 years old. I'm in my mid-20s, but I've already lived a life they'll never imagine, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, to back that up really quick, you said you turned 18 in country, correct?
In Baghdad, yeah.
In Baghdad. That was April.
No, on June 7th, 2003, I turned 18 in Baghdad. On April 29th, 2003, just north of Basra, I was hit by enemy fire. So I was already a Purple Heart recipient before I even turned 18. Couldn't even vote, couldn't drink a beer. I'm a Purple Heart recipient and a combat vet.
Or smoke a cigarette. I mean, legally. Or dip.
Yeah, legally. Like, I couldn't do shit.
Okay, sorry. I really wanted to cover that because I don't think people really understand what that means, let alone that you were that at 17 years old.
Yeah.
Like my corpsman dick's getting all like emotional because I'm like, I really look out for those guys and you're that guy. And I go, and so when I was in school, the same shit happens probably, but I go like to now you're in school. Let's fast forward back real quick. You're in school. You're at Kuyamaka. Okay, and you're in a creative writing class. Now you're in your mid-20s, right? This is life away from that life already. Maybe 5-10 years easily.
About 5 years, yeah.
How did that go?
Like I said, the assignment was right about an event that changed your life. Like a life-changing event. So everybody's writing about, oh my God, I got my first car. I graduated high school. I fucking lost my virginity,
Yeah.
And I wrote the first time I took a man's life while he was staring at me.
Holy shit.
I mean, they said something that changed your life, right? They didn't fucking put any bounds on it. Well, here's this mid-20s guy walking into class at a very conservative school, like super liberal, like everything.
Oh my God.
And I walk into class, and they're like, "Oh, Shane, would you like to read your speech?" I was like, "Sure." So I walk up to the front of the class, and I was like, the time I took a man's life, well, he stared at me, and the whole class, jaws dropped, pencils dropped. Even the teacher was like, "Wait, what?" Like, because the teacher wasn't paying attention at first.
Yeah.
And the whole world just changed. Like, everybody looked at me like I was on fucking crack. And I start speaking, and these 3 Middle Eastern girls in the class decide to start speaking in Arabic. Well, I yelled at them in Arabic to shut the fuck up.
Well,
and apparently you're not supposed to yell at them in Arabic when you're white in front of class. And they all looked at me like I was on crack because I knew Arabic. And like the teacher looks at me, and the teacher's like, "Who the fuck is this dude?" So the teacher asked me to leave class, and I go, "What? I can't finish my paper?" Like, he didn't know that I yelled, "Shut the fuck up."
Yeah.
He thought I just said something in Arabic, and all the girls got super offended, and I got asked to leave the class. Well, so I didn't know I qualified due to my injuries. I had a real bad TBI.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know I qualified for disabled student services, right?
Yeah, ADA.
So,
it's a huge thing, dude. It's a huge thing.
Yeah.
You really do. You got to look for that.
Yeah, exactly. And I had no idea. So disabled student services is amazing for veterans that have any disability. You completely qualified. And I went in there, and I was so irate. They wanted to expel me for my paper and all this shit. Well, here I am, super right wing. I'm like, this is effing BS. I'm yelling at everybody. They're threatening to call the cops on me.
Holy shit!
And I'm threatening to fucking sue them. And I'm in my 20s, never even talked to a lawyer in my life, and I'm threatening to sue a school.
You can do a fucking will and testament and sign your life away, but yeah, you don't know how to sue people.
Yeah,
that's the thing.
I know, completely 180. So I go into student services, and there's this lady. And I'll never forget her. She grabs me in almost like shoulder to shoulder with her hands. And she grabs me. She looks at me dead in the face and she goes, look at me. And I looked at her and I was like, gonna sock her right in her fucking mouth. And she goes, I understand you. I got you. My husband's a Marine.
Oh,
and I looked at her and I was like, oh shit. So it was like an instant calm down, right?
Yeah.
Chill out. And I sat down with her, and she goes, okay. She goes, well, obviously these classes aren't good classes for you. They're not going to work for you. We can't be in those classes. You're going to get expelled.
Yeah.
So she ends up, she goes, I know some good people. I'm going to get you in their classes. And I was like, all right, cool. She goes, have you ever done anything else in life, construction or anything? And I go, yeah, I've done construction with my dad growing up. You know, I grew up in northern Wisconsin. So she's like, cool, I got you then. So she tells me, she goes, it's only night classes. So it's all during the nighttime, you know, blah, 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 blah. I was like, all right. So she goes and introduces me to these guys. They're all veterans, and they run this EHSM, Environmental Health and Safety Management.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
Yeah, and I was like, what the hell is this, right? Like, I don't give a fuck about environmental health and safety. Like, I just want to blow people up and shoot them. And so she's like, no, trust me, you'll love the class, you'll love it. And I walked in, man, during the class, after first semester, I got offered a job that this guy, Jim, that ran the class, calls me into his office, and he goes, hey, do you have a job right now? And I go, no, man, I'm living on my GI Bill, $1,800 a month, and I got my disability check. And he goes, okay, how about a job? You work during the day, come to school at night. And I go, sweet, how much? I've never made over $5.15 was my minimum wage when I left high school, right?
Right.
And I remember making $4.75, and it got up to $5, and then $5.15. I thought I was balling out of control with like a few $100s a week. And he's like, well, and then in the Marine Corps, you're making about $500 a week. So I was like, well, fuck, dude, I'm doing pretty good.
Yeah.
And I get to shoot people. Like, you can't go wrong.
And I might get a bonus at the end of this. This is fucking
right?
Sweet ass,
I'm like,
sweet, bro.
I'm winning, like all ends. Well, he's like, all right. He goes, how much do you want to be my safety manager? And I was like, safety manager? He goes, yeah. You literally stare at people and make sure they're safe. And if they're not safe, you tell them what's up and you make them listen to you. I was like, oh, I can do that. You know, I could tell somebody, you know. So he's like, well, how much you want? I go, I don't know, like $10 an hour. And I thought I was like balling, you know, $10, shit, I'm going to be making it.
Yeah.
And he laughs at me in my face, and he goes, I can't pay you $10 an hour. He goes, how about we just call it even and we say $35 an hour?
Oh my God.
Joey, I looked at this guy like he was smoking a meth pipe, and I go, how much? I go, is that like a day?
You look at him and go, bro, I don't think you know how to fucking negotiate.
Yeah. And I go, wait, 35? He goes, yeah, you know, it's on the lower end of things, you know. He goes, but I can get you a pay raise after a couple years. I go, 30, bro, I'm at your beckoning. 35, let's do it. And he's like, so I went home, and my girlfriend at the time, I went home and told her, and her jaw hits the ground, you know. Yeah. And I started bringing home $1,200, $1,400 a week. She's like, what the hell? Are you dealing drugs? You know, never made that much in my life. So that was kind of my intro. But through that, I made a bunch of connections. Typical military, you know, you make connections everywhere you go. The more hands you shake, the more friends you make.
Hell yeah.
And I just started introducing myself to everybody. I started picking up different trades, learning a bunch of stuff. And I ended up getting a really good job with a disabled veteran-owned company. And he was like, he basically showed me the ropes on everything. And I worked for him for 6 years until a few years ago. Unfortunately, he went bankrupt due to some other things outside the company. Yeah. And he's still a great dude. He ended up getting me all locked in, and I ended up getting my contracting license. I went to school for it. I got my B license, general contractor, one of the hardest tests to do. I went and took it. I nailed it. Typical Marine, it took me a couple tries, but I got it.
But you got it.
I can't do math. Yeah, but I did it. You know? And
those fucking numbers.
And, you know, right? Oh, dude, numbers. And they were asking me to do algebra. Number one, I swear to God, I've never done algebra in my life. I paid somebody in college to do all my math homework. And then I had them on FaceTime to do my math homework during the test.
Oh, my God, dude.
Yeah, dude, I was typical Marine. Man, I had people doing my homework for money because I was making $1,400, $1,500 a week. I was like, well, fuck, I can do this. Yeah. You know, plus
lucky numbers. Like, lucky numbers,
yeah,
dude.
Yeah. So, I mean, and like you said, you know, there's a business office in downtown. I ended up meeting Bill Ryder. He's the former mayor of San Diego's Veterans Advocate.
Yeah, he does ACVAL.
ACVAL, yep. American Combat Veterans of War. I met him inadvertently when I was about to kill somebody at the VA.
Oh, wow.
And 4 security guards had me, they had me at fucking, one of them had his taser out. He was threatening me. I told him he didn't got the balls to fucking shoot me with it. And you know, he came up and grabbed me. Bill Ryder grabbed me, and he's like, "I got this fucking Marine," you know. And I was like, "God damn Vietnam vets, you know, they fucking know me."
Yeah.
And
Bill's one of those guys too, man. I met him a long time ago. He got me on the straight and narrow, and really helped me and my family out. And
dude, he'll put your ass in check.
Oh yeah, I didn't need to be in check. We were just kind of shooting the shit as like homeboys, man. It was great. Like he's a great guy.
Oh no, he put me in check.
Yeah, no, but you sounded like you needed it at the time, bud. Just a little bit.
You know, just a little bit. But you know, it's cool because there's a lot of people surrounding myself. Like personally, and I know a lot of people advocate for the VA. I fucking hate the VA. I think the VA is a crook ass system. But in the same exact hand, there's a lot of really good people at the VA.
Yeah, it's kind of like car dealerships, man. So I
correct. The people themselves are really good at the VA. The system sucks.
Oh yeah.
Like, and even the ones like I had a primary care. I love them to death, and the VA fucking fired him because he was giving out his personal cell phone to all the veterans, saying, "If you need something, you fucking call me." And it's like, why? This motherfucker is going out on his own personal time to say, "Hey, if you need something, anything, you call me." He wasn't writing scripts, doing nothing. He was just saying, "Hey, mental issues, call me." You know, he didn't want people blowing their fucking heads out. Yeah,
exactly.
But people like ACVAL, DAV, man, I lean so hard on these people, and I got a lot of really good knowledge. And I went out and, like you said, finance and money and all this shit is really hard for veterans to learn. And why? Because it's stressful. And once we start getting stressed, we get pissed. And what happens when we get pissed? Fucking papers fly and everybody fuck the world. Yep. I mean, that's typical veteran. Yeah. Luckily, I met a really good girl on Tinder, and
Tinder.
Who I'm still with.
Good job.
She's left me twice and kicked me out a couple times, but you know I've become a better man because of it. And she's a businesswoman. She's actually about to graduate with her master's in business. We're engaged to be married.
Congratulations.
Well, this is my second engagement to her.
Well, make sure this one goes through. Well. Make sure this one goes well.
Yeah. First one didn't go that well. She kicked me out of the house and fucking told me to rot in hell and told me I'm going to die alone. But that one statement woke me up. And so now, a year later, man, I'm in a better place. I'm in a much better attitude. I love life. Like you can't fucking stop me now. And so she taught me a lot about finance, about how to keep books. I never kept records, but now I'm running a very successful business. And it's a veteran business. So, like, veterans think they can't do anything. Man, the only shit you can't do is the shit you don't set out to do. So that's the way I always got to say to all the veterans. Like, if you want your VA comp and pen, go get it. If you want a Big Mac, go get it. The shit ain't going to appear on its own, you know? Like, and people always say, "Oh, I can't." And like C.T. Fletcher says, you're a bitch if you say you can't.
Yeah.
And I love C.T. Fletcher. I've met him in person. I'm really good friends with Bill Goldberg, the wrestler. Goldberg, that dude.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Yeah, I'm super close friends with him, and he's the same way. He's like, dude, don't you have enough balls to go get what you want? I'm like, holy fuck, you got a good point.
Yeah.
You know? Like,
but isn't that funny that these people are the ones that are reminding you of who you are? You know what I mean? Like, I mean, look at what we just talked about, like in brief, right? You went from, going into combat at 17. You're a kid. I'm sorry. Absolutely. Yep. You were a kid. You're a Purple Heart recipient as a kid, Yeah. And then now.
I was a fucking virgin fighting for the country.
Exactly. Like, I mean, like in my head, as I'm thinking of it, right, and we're talking, we covered a lot of landscape here, but I go, to me, that's beautiful. I love these stories because it's not a story, it's not an epic, it's a life. This is your life that we're talking about, and you took control of it, and you're making the changes, and you're doing the things, and you're listening to people. Like, I mean, I remember me and my wife, we go through it all the time, dude. She's a woman. She's a Latina. Okay, so that's going to make it even worse.
Oh, so is mine.
Oh, there you go. Mine. There you go.
Oh, I know.
And so sometimes, they're going to hit that nerve and you're going to be like, she hit that nerve, and she's fucking right. And that's the same way that the lady at the student services helped you out, snapped you out of it. And I go, that's such a beautiful truth, because it's not easy. We can be fucked up. We can be messed up. We can be beaten up. We could be giving up on ourselves almost every day, wanting to, do other things, negative things, right? But we also can do that. We can take a chance on doing something different, like what you said about your business. You went to the classes, you hung out, you talked to Bill Ryder, which is amazing, amazing man. Great plug. ActVal, it's out in Oceanside. Great people guided you, and you still, though, had to put in the fucking legwork. You know what I mean? And that's where I believe the best support systems come from, are from people that not only recognize it, but are humbled by it, because it's true. Like when I was talking with Bill, dude, like I wasn't getting checked, it was more or less like, I'm a good boy, I'm a good kid, I'm a good guy. And he was just more or less like, look, nobody knows you. Okay, so when you go into a room and you act either angrily or you act too nice, right? It's really difficult to understand your circumstance, because what you're articulating by your presentation and your appearance is either I'm going to hurt you or there's nothing wrong. And he woke me up to that. Him and Sonny Farron. Sonny Farron's another great man. He works with AMVETS and American Legion. Yeah, I fucking love me some Sonny, dude. We were actually just hanging out last weekend here and, drinking a couple beers and chit-chatting. And these gentlemen take their time of their day, and really give back into the community as much as they possibly humanly can. And then there's success stories like yours, like mine, like hundreds of others. And that's exactly why I started the podcast, was so we can focus on both that negativity. Like you talked about some shit, that's really good. But the focus isn't the shit. The focus is, man, we're going to take that shit. We're going to fucking put it in some soil. We're going to be growing some vegetables. And then in like a few months, we're going to have a fucking shit salad. And people be like, what? Taking that negative, making it a positive. All right. So to move forward a little bit more, you now at 34, right? What would be the best advice you could have given yourself at 17 when you were signing that document?
Honestly, everybody always asks that, and I wouldn't change a fucking thing. The best thing that ever happened to me in my life was falling flat on my face. Made me the man I am. If I hadn't fallen flat on my face. So what I mean by that is, in 2009, after being addicted to drugs and alcohol, on June 14th, 2009, I tried to kill myself. That's falling flat on my face, right?
Yeah.
I was, from 2005 getting out to 2009, I was a shit show. I was a self-manifested shit show. I had no stability. I had no guidance. I had no nothing. Now, if I could write myself and tell myself, a younger self, I'd be like, yo, fucking accept help, because a lot of people were trying to give me help and I refused. But at the same time, it also taught me to be a better man and be more humble about my life, because in 2009, when I tried to kill myself, I had two choices: fucking wither away and be a piece of shit, or stand up, pull my big boy pants on, and fucking march forward. And that's what I've done since 2009. Since June 14th, I'm not taking a step down. I've realized, like, nothing's free in this world. You only get what the fuck you go for. So it's something I would probably tell myself, instead of having to learn the hard way. But at the same time, I wouldn't change anything. So I would just tell myself, anything you want, you need to go for it and not take no for an answer. I get a lot of shit, and I'll tell your podcasters this. There's a guy that I call Tiger Todd. His name is Todd Schmidt, great friend of mine. He's been around for everything. And he always calls me, he always goes, every time I go, hey, Todd, guess what? And he's like, oh, my God, what the fuck's next, man? What are you going to you're the president of the United States? I don't know. And I'm like, what are you talking about? He always says, he's always like, dude, every other day you have something fucking crazy, just batshit balls out crazy. You do it. Like, I called him on a 2-week notice and I told him to get his passport. I was taking him to Cuba. He goes, what? And I go, I'm taking you to Cuba, man. We're flying out of Mexico. We're going to Mexico City, and then we're going to hop over to Cuba. So that way we don't have to stay where all the Americans stay. We can fucking go the whole island. He goes, you're batshit crazy, dude. But he came with me,
Holy
I fought
shit.
at Madison Square. Yeah. So, and one of the cool things, what happened there?
You there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, go ahead. One of the cool things.
one of the really cool things that ever happened in my life, and it kind of cemented who I am in fighting, is I got invited to go to a party. Well, while I was getting invited, World Series of Fighting, this is back in 2016, released that they were going to have a fight at Madison Square Garden. I don't know if you remember that. They were the second promotion. It was UFC at UFC 205, and then World Series said, hey, we're going to have one too. Well, I was currently signed at World Series, and I literally found out through a friend who was having a comedy show in Vegas, that this guy, Ray Seppo, who was the president and CEO of World Series, was going to be at his comedy show. I drove down to the airport and caught a last-minute flight, cost me astronomical money, to get to Vegas to nail that comedy show. And I called Ray Seppo out face-to-face for a fight on that card. You know what I mean? Like,
what the fuck?
Yeah, bro. Dude, I wanted it. I wanted to fight them. I said, all right, here we go, homie. Like, I used Twitter, Instagram, I triangulated motherfuckers' positions. I started texting people in Vegas. I had a car ready for me. I flew out to Vegas. A couple hours later, I'm in Vegas. I hunted this dude down at a comedy show, and everybody was like, "What the fuck?" When I walked in, and I was like, "Hey, Ray, how you doing?" He goes, "Hey, Shane," and I go, "Hi, I'm on your Madison Square Garden fight, aren't I?" And he goes, "Okay." And the comedian came up, and he's like, "Oh, he's on your Madison Square Garden card." Like, he was completely helping me.
Yeah.
But none of that would have been possible if you just don't grab life by the balls and say, this is what I want, and this is how I'm going to get it, and this is how I'm going to fucking achieve it. So it's like, that's what I would tell myself, the younger self. Sorry for such a long explanation, but that was a great story to say how the fuck I get it.
Yeah, no, dude, like, that is like the most fucking epic shit. I'm like sitting back going like, wait, we went from Cuba, right, to now we're in Las Vegas in a comedy show where you're like, hey, bruh, like, I'm on your card, right? Madison Square Garden, right? And then the comedian, who's, I don't even know who it is, but that sounds like an epic.
Adam Hunter, MMA Roasted.
Okay, Adam Hunter, MMA Roasted. All right, and he's sitting there going like, yeah, he's on it, right? Like, just egging the dude on in public. Yeah. I love that shit.
He agreed to it in front of like 10 fighters, and all the fighters weren't on the card. They all looked at him like, what the fuck?
Well, they were there sucking dick, hoping for the chance, and you were there taking the chance. Yeah.
I just walked in and I said, hey, I'm on your card. He was like, okay. And Stephen Bonner, who's an acquaintance of mine, was there, and Stephen Bonner was like, oh, cool, you're on the Madison Square Garden card? So there was a lot of people help me, but at the same time, none of that would have been possible if you just don't grab life by the balls and go, guess what, motherfucker, this is mine, and I'm going to take it. So this generation, sorry, and this is a tyrant, I got to get it out.
Get it out.
Veterans need to hear this shit. But, like, the whole, Dakota Meyer is a friend of mine, a Medal of Honor recipient. Rocco, former Green Beret, Dr. Mike Simpsons, Tim Kennedy, all these guys are friends of mine. Captain Flo, Medal of Honor recipient, good friend of mine. I was texting him last night. You start talking to these guys, and something that really pisses us off, the guys that did it, right? Like, we went out, we did it. We got hurt, we got fucking all this shit. Like, we don't look for accolades. We're not looking for, oh my God, data boys and everything like that, right?
Right.
All we want is for veterans to get what the fuck they deserve. We don't want veterans, but with that being said, the way to say that is don't expect. Don't say you deserve. Don't say it's entitlement, because it's not. You gotta earn that shit. If you, the thing that bothers me is I got attached to a Facebook group called VA Comp and Pen. And I don't know how the fuck I got, but I troll motherfuckers on this Facebook group. Like, if you go on this Facebook group, it's called VA Comp and Pen. Like, you'll see me and a bunch of other dudes trolling people, trying to ask, how can they get bigger ratings? How can they do this? How can they do this? And veterans giving them tips on how to con the government. I'm like, you motherfucking piece of shit. Sorry. But at the same time, dude, health benefits, go ask for it. Okay, so what? You can't get it? Cool. Go get a fucking job that's going to give it to you. Just because you're fucking, I'm not saying you either, Joey. if you're fat and lazy and don't have money, don't have a job.
I like how you how you segue that. I'm not talking you, Joe, because I talk to my wife the same way that you're getting fired up, and I use the yous a lot, and she goes, "What, like me?" And I'm like, "No, I'm cool. I know who you're talking about, bro."
Right?
Like,
but it's like if you're fat and lazy, and these guys that sit there and they're like, I served 4 years in the Navy. I never even left shore, but goddamn, the government better pay for my house. I'm like, shut the fuck up, dude. And they're like, well, I volunteered for the fighting force. Yeah, you did, motherfucker. It's called volunteer. Volunteer means you don't get shit on the back end, bitch. You know?
Yeah.
And it's like, it bugs me, and it bugs these guys. And you'll follow Dakota on his podcast or follow Dakota on his Instagram. And he's the same fucking way, man.
I just hit him up actually to do an interview about the Flipside Canvas. Waiting to hear back from his boy Ben.
Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah.
You need that. That shit's hot, dude. And then he got into fucking skydiving. I offered to do his ratings here in San Diego because I'm a avid skydiver.
Yeah.
I offered to do them, and our schedules didn't click up. Otherwise, I was going to do all his ratings for him. And now he got his fucking C license. This motherfucker jumping out of helicopters and shit. That's really cool. But, it's people just thinking they're entitled. And that's this millennial generation is just fucking entitlement. Fuck your entitlement. You get what's yours by earning it. Like, there's no free money in life.
Exactly.
You know,
so that's awesome that you bring it up that way too, because you know how we segued just a second ago because it's not me, not you, right? And I'm like, no fucking doubt. Like, first and foremost, I don't think I've ever gotten anything handed to me, even the shit I've ordered at a fucking restaurant. Okay, like I'm the guy. They look at me and they go, "Well, you can get it yourself, right?" I'm like, "Well, fuck yeah, I guess. Fuck shit, I paid for it, but whatever." Yeah, you know. But like, okay, so me and my wife were literally talking about this because you know I talk to so many different types, you know. And I go, so I don't know what the fuck the world thinks, and I really don't give a shit. I know what my life is, you know. And I go, but the truth is like, okay, contractually, when we talk legalities and technicalities and shit, right? The VA is supposed to take care of everybody that's ever served, and is injured even by rolling their ankle during boot camp. I fucking don't agree with the law. It's the law, okay? However, there's also the guys like you who didn't want to ask for help, who were probably, Bill was probably the first guy to tell you. Sonny was probably the second guy to tell you. You got to take this shit. You know, it's not that you not only earned it, and it's not an entitlement. You are the type of person, and look at how you react in several instances, right? That need it. It's not a matter of, you know, hey, can I have it? Maybe, I don't know if I need it or not. And everybody that I've ever talked to, like we were talking about, that actually did the shit, like you brought up Rocco, you brought up fucking Dakota, like all those people, right? I hope to God that they are doing everything they can to also pass the information along as well.
100%.
You know, like where, you know, hey, like I served with some guys, you know, they didn't shoot anybody in the fucking face, but on an STP unit, that's not your job. You know, your job is let's shuffle body parts and hope to save some fucking lives, and mass casualties are constantly there. And I go, so when one of my buddies, he was asking me like, well, why do you feel like you earn the same thing that, you know, your buddy who doesn't have a leg has? And I'm like, you know, because I didn't for years. And another good guy, Doc Todd, me and him talked about this. You know, you feel like you didn't do enough for years and years and years. And that leads to suicide ideation, depression, anxiety, and all that different shit. Now, here's the difference, right? Here's the caveat. The difference is I'm a combat veteran of war, right? Versus I never left, you know, I stayed shoreside. I never volunteered for deployments anywhere. You know, I skated the system while I was in. And then when I got out, I also skate the system so I get everything I can get out of it. Those people exist, and it sucks because, you know, what it does is because the VA is not an honor system. It's a legal system, right? What it does is it minimizes men like you and Dakota and fucking Rocco and everybody else that as well should take every cent and earn, that they've earned already for injuries, compensation. Because my thing is always this: you never know what's going to come up. You know, you just don't know. Like if it's an Agent Orange things with these burn pits, me and Sonny talk about all the time. Like if there's an exposure, it's not so much that you should take it or get your ratings elevated or anything, but get involved. Like we were talking more so the entrepreneurial shit. Like what if your business could be thriving 100% better by simply reaching out to the Disabled Veterans Business Association on the VA? You're not asking for money. You're asking for for education. That's my
Exactly.
biggest thing is like, ask for education, ask for guidance and leadership. That's why I love Bill and I love Sonny so goddamn much, because
become enriched. Don't think you deserve anything. Ask to be enriched mentally and emotionally, because they're there for that shit and they will fucking enrich the shit out of you.
Oh, fuck yeah. There would be some enrichment amongst us, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Dude, so that's so awesome. I'm glad you're passionate about that, because I agree. I just always have to take the more devil's advocate approach, being the host and whatnot.
I'm in agreement. I'm in agreement. I'm not saying only combat vets get money, blah, blah, blah. No.
No, but everybody knows the type, and we know the type, and we're talking about specifically that type. Like you brought up Arabic girls at Cuyamaca, right? You're fucking able to have a conversation in Arabic. I used to be able to do the same shit. I used to be able to say "shut the fuck up" or "where's the pain." That was about it.
Yeah.
But then, like you bring that in, and the hypersensitivities is where I think that we're going. That's what we're talking about. Not, hey, every Arab is this and that, or every Islamic is that and this, or every Mexican's trying to steal jobs and be imported. I'm like, no, dude. Like, this conversation is more like, we know that there's veterans out there that are suffering, that need this help, and then there's also veterans out there that are abusing the system for their own benefit.
Abusing the help. Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, I have friends at the gym. When I spar them, I tell them I'm going to call T.O. Trump and get their ass deported if they hit me again. So, like, I have some of my best friends are Mexican, so it's like I don't give a shit. I always threaten T.O. Trump on them, And I also, another thing is, one of my best friends is Arabic. He's Johnny Walker, the translator.
Yeah, me and him are friends too.
Super close friend of mine. Yeah, super close friend of mine. I mean, he's been to my daughter's birthday parties. He ambushed me a couple weeks ago at Ross, that little fucker. But he caught me slipping. That son of a bitch caught me slipping. But it's it's funny. Like I post these pictures, and I get called racist. It's really funny. I have a Mexican Filipino girlfriend. And fiance, and I have a fucking Filipino and German daughter. Yeah, I'm racist, buddy.
Yeah, but that's the hardest conversation to have these days. And I love that we brought it up because I posted a rap singer. I can't remember his name. I say rap singer still. What the fuck, right? Rap artist, and he had a great video.
Rap singer.
Yeah, I know, right? It's so fucking gay. I'm like, who's a rap singer? Oh my God. No, so this video was fucking amazing. Okay, like he talks about, it's an introduction, and the guy actually looks like me. The fat white dude looks like me with the beard and everything in the hat. And I was like, oh my God, I didn't remember doing this. I mean, no, I didn't. But it was really funny because it was funny, but it was amazing. It was very impactful because it's kind of that conversation of perspective, and I think that's what's really going on right now. It's not racism, it's not ideationalism, it's not patriotism, it's perception. And I think so many people have their perceptions skewed about things because of mass media injection of this idealistic propaganda. And I go, like you said it, your wife's Filipino and Hispanic or Mexican, or your fiance.
Yeah, Mexican.
My wife is straight up Mexican and black. She was born in Mexicali, even though she's a real citizen. No, she's a natural born citizen, but lived in Mexicali. Then when I met, we had to still do the process because of certain things with the paperwork. So she became a naturalized citizen because she wants to. And now she's a naturalized citizen, and we talk about all this different stuff about Tío Trump, Tío Donald. Hey Donald, you're messing up at the Trump, huh? But it's funny because it's a great conversation. It's kind of like what we were talking about, the VA benefits.
Yeah.
There's a way to do it.
Yeah.
It sucks, but it only changes when you get involved. You can kick and scream. You can get emotional. You can get angry. You can hurt yourself. You can hurt others. It's not going to change the system. One of the greatest things that I watched was with the girl that does the Hunger Games, the young hotness. I can't remember whatever her name is, but
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
She did a video about voting and all this different stuff about change. And she goes, 30% of anything, no matter how important or the people want it, only 30% of laws get passed by Congress or the Senate. Right. And I go, that's actually really good, Because what it means is that you only have 30% if it's a really flaming issue, like right now what we have with the wall and shit. And you also have this 30% of just this specified issue, like, cancer research for, neonatals, or a specific program for veterans, or like what Donald Trump just signed in, fixing the VA. How do we really get guys more involved? How do we leverage what we have going on right now better so that people have the opportunity to become more enriched with the knowledge? You know what I'm saying? And that's something where, we, people that are talking about it, clearly me, I'm a host of this, podcast, whatever it may be or whatever it turns into. It's more important that people go, oh shit, I learned some shit on that shit. And, Shane said that shit, and that dog's he crazy, but, he made some shit. He made some shit sense. And that shit sunk in.
Right.
And I mean, you can talk to yourself however you talk to yourself, but that's how I talk to myself. I cuss a lot. And I go, at the end of the day, that knowledge is valuable for your family and you. Last week we were talking with Mike Vinn about, medications, different shit. You went down the same road a little bit, what we talked about, for a few years. I went down it for a few years. The same, it's as weird as the time frames is roughly about the same. It took me about 4 years.
Marijuana cures all. Trust me, a lot better than all that shit.
It really does. And I'm a huge advocate for cannabis and marijuana, whatever what word you want to use. It's a plant, right? And I go, the worst thing is being a subject matter expert in the lab, which what I was in the military, right? I was also an advanced lab tech, created the lab out in El Centro, just all this great stuff and I loved it. I loved what I did. I loved my patients. And I go, understanding research as well, because before I went to lab, I was in a research department. And in that department, I learned that a lot of research gets held up due to politics and agenda. Yep. And if it's a financial twitch, right, like it may shift some shit, right? Then it may not ever get approved. Because right now what we're looking at is a very institutionalized concept of medicine. Okay. And when you bring in things like plant-based medicines, even though we have our homeopathic doctors and shit, you really don't have any kind of basis of conversation when we talk NIDA, FDA, or full use of, for pharmaceuticals, which, Sue Sisley, which is a wonderful lady I met a few years ago, she just completed her first trials, NIDA approved out in, I think it is Arizona. And she completed their first trials. Yeah, we don't know the results yet, but dude, that's huge, because what we're saying is empirically we're almost there. And I go, just in a few more years, like everybody that's like, shoving these pills down their throat, and I'm like, don't do it. Like, in California you have an opportunity. Colorado, you have opportunities. Nevada, Washington, I think Arizona's medicinal.
32 states right now.
32. Oh my God, that's huge, right? That's fucking huge. You have the opportunity, just like what we're talking about, everything else, every fucking thing else, including entrepreneurship, fighting. Take it by the fucking balls and take care of yourself first. Yep. And then attack these issues. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not saying like non-tactically, like what you were saying, how you got Ray, set up for that Madison Square Garden fight. Be tactical, show your manners and your etiquette and have tact. Yep. You know what I mean? Dude, that's, I'm all fired up. That's fucking awesome. That is the shit, dude. All right. So one last thing, Shane, I really fucking enjoyed our conversation where we went, and I couldn't thank you enough for your time and for your service to our nation, as homo that is. And I'm just so proud to say that, yeah, man, I really, 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 really dig what you're doing with your business and with your fights, and how you not share, but you give that to people in need. And I go, and that's tremendous, regardless of what you do in the future. What you're doing now is amazing. Your path to success, it's a bumpy one, but those are usually the best fucking stories, dude. We don't like fucking straight and narrows. We like bumpy paths. So that was badass.
Just wait a couple of years. You'll see something that just finalized. All the paperwork just finalized. That's all I can say. But you'll see something in a few years on something you'll have to pay to go see.
Nice.
If that gives you any hints.
It gives me plenty of hints. Goddamn NDAs.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I love / hate
but,
NDAs.
No, you'll see a lot about my life soon on something.
That's awesome, dude. I'm so proud of you, brother.
Yeah.
All right, so on a quick note, let's go ahead and recap a little bit. All right, we talked a lot about Mr. Shane Kruchten, a 34-year-old cage fighter out of San Diego, California, fights out of the MMA lab of Arizona with Benson Henderson, correct?
Yep.
Okay,
correct.
got that right. And you are now fighting for the second largest fight promoter, which is Bellator Fights. And you got this upcoming fight on the 29th of March, which is also my anniversary, which is also your fight anniversary for pro, which is fucking cool. Yeah. And we're going to have to drink a beer together.
For the big show.
Well, for fighting, fighting, fuck it, everything. You were kicking ass before I was even fucking like jerking off, really. I'm just saying, like, you were 17. I did the math while we were talking. I was like, you were 17 in 03, 04. I graduated in 03 at 17. So, like, our paths were just roughly different and slower. I got in at 04, left in 04. Yeah, left in 04, and then deployed in 06. And I spent, So it's different times, but I go, which is crazy because you're a young man. We're in the same age group, and you've seen so much with this millennial, propaganda bullshit, and also reality because it's generational. We gotta push each other, gotta kick each other in the ass. Now you're engaged for the second time, which is awesome. Congratulations again.
To the same woman.
Good. Yeah. Hey, you know what? Hey, second time around. That's a good song. Step by step. Anyway,
it's always funny. I feel like Gene Simmons because he got married a few times to the same woman. So I feel like Gene Simmons, but I'm only engaged a few times.
See, that's good. That's really good because Gene Simmons is a beast. I don't know if you want to live that lifestyle.
Right.
Oh shit, bro. Okay, and is there anything else that we can cover? I really wanted to touch base on WAR RHINO Inc. How do we get you not licensed, but if we were to look to get something done, big, small, like what type of projects do you do? What type of things do you do?
Anything. So commercial, residential, everything. Just WAR RHINO Inc. on WAR RHINO Inc. at yahoo.com. I'm and WAR RHINO Inc. right on Facebook. So just send me a message and we can get you taken care of.
Nice. And you do large, you do commercial and residential, and that's WAR RHINO Inc. I don't know why that's a tongue twister right now. WAR RHINO Inc. and yahoo.com, and is also Facebook. And how do we get involved for Shane Kruchten, the MMA fighter?
Just hit me up. WAR RHINO, WAR_RHINO. It's on Instagram. You can hit me up on there. That's my everything page, but that is my verify. You'll see the little blue check mark. That's the MMA fighter page. You'll see all my updates that I do with the veterans. I run a nonprofit in San Diego for veterans and police officers when I'm in San Diego. It's every other Saturday. So I do a nonprofit. It's called Alianza Jiu-Jitsu. It's in Eastlake, in Otay Mesa, San Diego. And it's free of charge for any military veteran or police officer. Every other Saturday, it's ran out of the Alianza gym. It's over by Target in Eastlake. And, you learn jiu-jitsu, Muay Thai, MMA, self-defense, and also any combat veteran that is suffering from PTSD that just wants to learn a skill. We have a nonprofit set up. You get a free lifetime membership out of the gym. So,
holy shit.
That's saving you tens of thousands of dollars. It saves you about $2,500 a year. You come through, you get a free gi, and you start. They'll throw you to the Shark Tank, but man, you'll have a brotherhood.
Dude, that is beautiful. I can't believe. I can't believe. We set out on this show talking about some basic stuff. And now here we are, at the end of it, and I'm just like completely humbled. Shane, I can't thank you enough for being a brother, being there as a support system for our brotherhood and community. It is a miracle, like what you've done with your life from your suicide attempt to now, your education, your business, and now you're moving forward with the fight coming up soon. You're giving back to the community continuously while you do it, while you move up. See, that's what I love to see. I love to fucking see that shit. As you're moving up, you're pulling motherfuckers up with you. Now, that nonprofit out in Eastlake, that is even fucking huger because, I used to fucking roll around, but I couldn't afford it after a while. But that's something where a lot of guys that are still healthy enough, or maybe they're not, maybe they want to work up to that goal. Go out there, fucking ask questions. Check out Shane Crutchen's fight coming out March 29th here in Temecula, California at the Pachanga Casino Resort. And make sure you check out those social medias. Keep up with Shane, keep up with the nonprofits, keep up with War Rhino Inc. And that'll be the show today. Thanks guys for listening, and peace. So that's where I stop recording.